Hi, I'm Mike Harrington, and in 2014, I embarked on a health journey resulting in my losing over 200 pounds on my own. Since then, I've been sharing my story and have become an advocate for healthy living. Welcome to Mike Inspires Me, a podcast show about health, wellness, and amazing people to inspire you to take charge of your life and your health. Tonight, I thought I'd have an honest talk about healthy living. Haven't I always been giving you an honest talk? Yeah, I do. I really do try to tell you my perspective without filtering it too much, without sugarcoating it, and letting you know how I feel rather than trying to sell you something, but telling you my experiences and the truth of what it takes to be healthy, especially from a perspective of a person that I was before who really didn't focus much on health. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I think it's important for you to know these things because it's a mindset, and it was a shift in the way I think about my life, the way I think about myself. And those were very important shifts in order for me to get myself to take care of my body and my mind and my spirit and all those things. So I call myself a healthy living advocate. You've heard me say that. I got the idea or title working with Fox 61 on the appearances I've been on. That's what they've been calling me in the past three times I've been on there. And I'm fine with that. That actually aptly describes what I'm trying to do. When I talk about my mission of inspiring people to take charge of their lives, that's a big piece of it, is advocating for a healthier life. But I want to be clear on something, okay? I talk about it, I advocate for it, but it really comes down to what you want. I can't tell you what you want, right? I mean, I can't tell you you should get healthy. I can't tell you you should lose weight. And in fact, I wouldn't tell you that because that's not as you've been listening to me, my way of approaching health anymore is not just from the weight perspective. But what does it mean to be healthy? Like, what the heck are you talking about? Well, let's think about that for a minute. When we say healthy, what do you mean? Healthy mean not sick? Well, some of us have conditions we got to live with, and we may consider ourselves sick because what is sick, right? It really just comes down to a couple of things. Is your body and mind, spirit, and all these things, are they all functioning as best as they could? And that's what it comes down to. So some of us are born with conditions, some of us develop conditions that may never go away. But are there things that we could do with our lifestyle that could improve our life despite those conditions? I want you to think about that, because sometimes people use that as a crutch. And don't get mad at me for saying that. It's the truth. I have this, I have that, so I can't get. It comes down to choices. And I'm not saying, I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying there are other options. If you have a certain type of condition, there are still lifestyle things I'm sure you could do. You might try to tell me, oh, Mike, well, I'm already doing everything. Well, if you are, then that's good. Then I hope you are healthy and happy, at least as much as you can be, because that's really what it comes down to. You think about how we measure health, all right? The scale. Is that a measurement of health? A stethoscope, we can listen, we can take blood work, put you on monitors and all these things, and urine tests, right? All this stuff, scan your body. and we can tell you whether you are healthy or unhealthy, right? That's what the doctors tell you. And you think, okay, we're always developing new ways of looking at the body to determine these things, but stuff changes over time. A lot of doctors I listen to when they talk about certain things, aspects that they measure, they change how they view it because we learn more over time what it means to be healthy. And so sometimes people will look at healthy as well, how long you live, right? If you live a long life, you must have been healthy. Yeah, I guess I could see that. But is living a long life miserably truly healthy? I mean, to me, it really comes down to not just longevity, but your quality of life. And if you're healthy and happy, then maybe you are living the life that you want. Again, I can't tell you that because honestly, when we go back to say, what does it mean to be healthy? It kind of comes down to what do you want? Okay, I have friends, as you've probably seen, who are health professionals. Okay, and some of them do stay healthy for a living. Some of them are fitness professionals or bodybuilders and people. And these to them, health is something they do for life, for a living. And can you be too healthy? What does that mean? I don't know that you can be too healthy. You can be optimally healthy. Can you work on your health to a point where it's not healthy? Yes. And I've talked about some of those things. So when being too healthy is not healthy, right? Doing too much exercise or too much healthy, you get orthorexia where you've got sort of an obsession with being healthy, or maybe you injure yourself or overuse your body. I mean, you think about some of the extremes, and I've seen with people in different sports. I mean, I'm going to go back to bodybuilding, not to pick with it. It's just one that's been on my mind because I saw somebody today again, Ronnie Coleman, who's one of the most amazing builds in bodybuilding, just massive mountain of a man and quite a character. But the guy worked himself to the point, where I don't think he can walk anymore, at least last I heard. And was that worth it? From what I've seen, he seems to think so, but I don't know. I mean, for me, so that's his perspective. And I guess if he's happy, I mean, I doubt he's happy being injured or disabled from it. But, if he feels it was worth it for that, then hey, that's his choice because it's not my life. It's his life. I wouldn't want that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind having a better body, and I'm working on it. But at the same time, I want to have a balance. I still like cookies and things like that. And, with the way I enjoy my life, a bodybuilder's build is not in the picture for me because I don't really want it. And I'm fine with that. So, how do you define your healthy? What does it look like to you? If you've got a vision of that, then you got to think about what it is that it's going to take to get there. I mean, I don't want you to get to the point in your life where you're looking back and it's too late and you say, I wish I had did this or that to get healthier. That's what I saw in my father's eyes the day he died. I'm convinced, and sorry to get real on you, but that was sort of my why. Why am I doing this? Because in the last moments of my father's life, I truly saw regret. 63 years old. And by then, he looked like an 80-year-old man. Not disrespecting him, he looked terrible because he didn't take care of his health. His physical health was horrible. He had colon cancer from the way he ate, lung cancer from the smoking. He had a lot of stress, which he didn't take care of in a healthy manner. He tried. I don't want this to sound like I'm blaming him. He certainly did this stuff to himself, but I'm not making it sound like I not have any compassion for him. I owe everything to him for being here today. I'm sorry that he had to die for me to realize that my life was worth something, but it did. And so you got to ask yourself, how do you want to experience your life? I remember my grandmother who died in 1983, another one who was about 65, emphysema, what is it? Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, as they call it now. She couldn't breathe. I mean, I remember this woman well into her, just starting in her early 60s on an oxygen tank. And I remember going over there as a kid. We'd go see Grammy every Saturday, go grocery shopping. She had to take an oxygen tank with her. But I remember she had this massive machine. It was like the size of a love seat in her living room. It was an oxygen machine. And she had like, I don't know, a 7,500 foot oxygen tube hooked to her nose. And she would sit in her living room, watch television. That's about all she could do. And I would come over with my brother sometimes. We spend a night with her. And, she didn't have much, but she enjoyed having us there. And she'd make us a little special meal or something and let us have some Jiffy Pop popcorn. The thing I remember the most was her struggling to breathe. And another woman who, to me, I'm not that far off from being in my 60s. And I certainly don't feel like what I picture she was like, just struggling. I just remember that noise constantly. That's the way she breathed, because the bronchioles, I think that's what they're called, in her lungs were shot from the smoking. That's horrible. And that's not a way to live, is it? And again, some of you guys probably gotten pissed off at me before when I've preached about smoking, but I watched my dad die from it. And so I'm a little biased. I hate it. I hate it because I watched what it do to people. Sure, not everybody, but it certainly is not a good thing. And I understand the addiction because I watched my father struggle and quit and struggle and quit and struggle and quit until he died. And he died horribly. So how important is your health to you? How do you want to experience your life? Do you want to live miserably? If you're suffering now, what can you do to end your own suffering? Because I can't do it. You got to make a decision, and it's going to take work. But if that work is worth it to you, because let's face it, guys, what I do takes work. But I don't feel like it's work because I enjoy it now. I enjoy it because it's given me life. But getting up at 5 a.m. to do my health routine and exercise and eat clean takes effort. And yeah, some days I get tired and then I remind myself, do I want to go back to where I was? No. So you choose. And to me, I choose health. And that's why I believe, and again, I can't say this for you, but I will speak for myself. That is the most important thing about my life, is working on my health. Yes, I got to support my family. Yes, I got a job and things but sorry, my health comes first. It has to. If you're a parent, it is imperative that you take care of your health so that you can be there for your children and your spouse. And if you say, well, I've got nobody, well, you must know somebody because you obviously must know me. Take care of yourself for your own self, because you don't want to live a miserable life. And if you're miserable and lonely, there's things you can do. You can find friends. Maybe after you start feeling better about yourself, you will feel more wanting and open to find friendship. There's a balance between health and happiness, okay? Because as I said before, you can become a little too obsessive about health. And then it becomes into question about whether you're happy. If you're super healthy and miserable, then you're not healthy. You're only maybe healthy physically, but eventually your happiness is going to wear down on your physical and spiritual health too, because those things over time need to be in balance. And if they're not in balance, it chisels away. For example, if your physical health is declining, okay, and let's just assume it's something that, you have some control over fixing, okay? Maybe it's through better eating or keeping physically active, or to both. But over time, because you get unhealthy, you become depressed. And it's cyclical. Because honestly, and I'm starting to read more and more about this, and I actually just saw a nutritional psychologist, eating well affects your mental health. Yes. I mean, have you seen times when you've eaten certain foods and you feel mentally sluggish or depressed or buzzed up, you eat sugar and you get a sugar buzz or caffeine, right? Affects your health, your mental, your mind. And the same thing, your mind affects your physical health. You can worry yourself into getting sick, probably getting cancer. Stress, anxiety, those things wear down on your body. People end up with muscle tensions, heart problems. In fact, I just listened to a podcast, great podcast, by the way. I'll do a shout out to doctors Stephen and Drew Sinatra. Dr. Stephen Sinatra is actually a cardiologist right here in town. You're getting free press from me right now, but I really like their podcast they do together, father and son, called Be Healthistic. And they were talking about, actually, Dr. Sinatra is a therapist too, on top of being a well-known cardiologist. But they were talking about how mental stress affects the heart. And I mean, we kind of know that, right? That you can stress yourself, or we've heard people getting stressed to the point of having a heart attack from being scared or upset or whatever. So it can happen. So your mental health, your physical health, those things need to be in balance. Okay? Because some people, they look at their health and they think, well, if I only lose this weight, I'll be happy. And maybe you will. But maybe you need to examine what's eating you as opposed to what you're eating. You've heard me say that. It's not so much what you're eating, it's what's eating you. And it's true. I mean, at least for me, I know a lot of times when I'm stressed, I want to eat. That's just, and I still do. It didn't go away. I'm not, oh, ta-da, I lost 200 pounds. Now I don't stress eat. Wake up. It doesn't go away. You can learn. You can learn. And if anybody tells you they've got it beat, then that's great. I'd love to know their secret. But there's no secret to it, because I'm sure the urges are still there. The neural pathways are already formed. You can weaken them, but you already know what it's like. Like any other sort of addiction, it satisfies the need. And if you've learned to use food as comfort, it always will be. And you need to be aware of that. It's funny, I remember one time I said, oh, well, I thought I beat obesity. Well, I might have lost a lot of fat off my body and got myself in better shape physically, but I'm still the same guy. It's still the same things. I've learned a lot more things to deal with the things that I had learned before, so that I don't stress eat all the time. So now I go hiking, walking, exercise, meditation, prayer, all kinds of things to deal with my stress. So that I have some alternatives to dealing with those things than turning to food or alcohol or drugs, pornography, any of those things that people turn to satisfy their anxiousness or anxiety, or any of those things, or depression. As I've said, the balance between health and happiness is a line that you got to define for yourself. You got to look at to what it is you want. I mean, some people might look at somebody with a bodybuilder's body, but you know what? Unless you're one of the very few that's been genetically blessed, it takes a lot of work for those guys. I know many of them personally. As I said, it's hard work, very hard work to get to that level of that type of body. Okay. Yeah, I know a few people who barely have to do anything, but there's a lot of that. That's why some people are 7 foot tall and some of us are below 4 foot, right? There's all variations in our, so we only have control over so much, but it's your life. It's your health. You own it. And you define what it means. You. And that's why I want to be honest with you when it comes to my belief about what healthy means. It's what it means to you. I can give you tools to learn what that means. I can give you tools to try to get there. Okay? But you got to define it for yourself. I can't tell you what it means, but I can help you get there if you truly do want to be healthy and happy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay awesome and stay healthy. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mike Inspires Me podcast. Stay tuned for future episodes and check out some of the past ones you may have missed. For more information on me and my story, go to MikeInspiresMe.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Mike Harrington Official and on Twitter at Mike Inspires Me. Stay healthy and stay awesome.